Who is the first person you think of when I say 007? Of course, James Bond, but which James Bond? Barry Nelson being the first in 1954, but the obvious icons being Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, and Pierce Brosnan, who, with all due respect, and my mother is going to disagree, was a bit too posh for my taste. As a child, my parents adored him in Remington Steele, and ever since, I've never been able to see him as anything but a schmaltzy boulevardier. But hey, that's just me. However, that leads me to, in my humble opinion, the greatest James Bond in the history of the series, Daniel Craig. The opening scene of Casino Royale was such a dynamic, action-driven shift, it was evident the next chapter wasn't being written by Ian Fleming, but Daniel Craig. His cool-headed, collective abilities no matter the scenario, and his unapologetically ease in speaking his mind, all while being emotionally aware of his shortfalls and imperfections. I don't believe there's been another Bond that brings these traits authentically to the silver screen as Craig has. To date, he's now the longest-running Bond character in the series, and to be honest, I'm really going to hate to see him go. But what does Goldfinger's attempt in lasering Sean Connery in half, or Brosnan falling off an enormous dam in the opening scene of GoldenEye have to do with calming our mind? Well, let's pour an emotional martini and find out. I'm Chad Lawson, and let's calm it down in 3, 2, 1. Stress comes in countless forms, and while secret agents may not be an immediate threat, it often feels the same, as if it's just waiting for us around each corner. You may be in a season of compromised health. Perhaps work or finances are scarce. Goodness knows 2020's bingo card of absurdities becomes more bizarre with every headline. For some, just the thought of a new morning brings its own overwhelming flood of emotional waves, leaving you desperate to pull the sheets over your head and to just wish it all away. Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there, says Eckhart Tolle. It sounds ideal, doesn't it? To close your eyes, click your heels of your ruby slippers, and be somewhere else in an instant. It sounds rather fairy tale, but even Dorothy found her way home. But it wasn't without a determined mind, help from friends, and a stubborn belief that there was no place like home. American philosopher William James says the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. This is key. Without getting too heady, no pun intended, we each have a logical brain and an emotional brain. Every waking moment is controlled by how these two interact. Which one is the loudest, or the one that we listen to the most? Remember the Tom and Jerry cartoon of the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other? Yeah, that's basically it. But here's where it gets fun. Like exercising or trying something new, it gets better with each practice. The more we feed something, the bigger and stronger it becomes. Our mind is like a chia pet. It doesn't need much, just a little attention, and before you know it, you have happiness growing out of control. We like to feel loved. We like good attention. Our thoughts are no different. And whether it's the original pet you're going after or the Bob Ross, it can't grow on its own. You get my point. When we are in times of high stress, it seems impossible to get past the hurdle and see clearly. The best way to tackle high-stress situations is through pausing for a moment and bringing our attention to our breathing. How can something so simple as breathing stop the downward spiral of our emotions? When we are not present in our bodies, our thoughts can carry us away, making stressful situations almost debilitating. When we have awareness to focus on our breath, our body, we can bring ourselves back into the present moment, bringing us clarity, calm, and ease of mind. So let's start by taking a few significant and purposeful breaths. A simple technique of 5, 1, 5. We'll breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for a second, and then slowly breathe out for 5 seconds. 5, 1, 5. Let's try it. As we breathe in, let's count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for a second. And let's breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Let's do this one last time. In for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You now have an abundance of oxygen. This is how we are created to feel. Letting our breath become natural, noticing the abundance, how good it feels. Also noticing how calmer we are, calming our mind, our hearts, our breathing. Now closing your eyes, I'd like for you to visualize yourself standing in a huge field. No one's around. Everything is calm, slight breeze, super peaceful. Let's sit down in this meadow and look around, noticing how beautiful it is all around you. You are completely relaxed. In the distance, you see some dark clouds closing in as the sky grows a little darker. You see that a small storm is forming and you feel some raindrops beginning to fall. Imagine that this storm is your stress. It could be a mild stress with just some rain and a little wind. It could be a very high stress with extremely strong winds and very heavy rain pouring down. In this visual, we are going to face a very strong and powerful storm to make ourselves stronger within. So as you feel the storm getting even stronger and the wind is blowing harder and harder, you sit there in the meadow, completely unfazed. The storm cannot hurt you here. You have a choice to react to this storm with fear, or knowing that this storm is harmless in this visualization that we've created. Stress is our reaction to fear and worry, and even high demands that we either place on ourselves or allow others to place on us. Whether the fear is real or not, we have to learn the proper reaction to all of these things. Sometimes you can't help it, and stress will overtake in a matter of seconds, and we must handle it properly, or it will handle us. Just like sitting through the storm in the field, stress cannot harm you if you know that it simply will pass you by. What matters is your own reaction to the events around you. Embrace the stress. Fully let it exist without fighting. You see this storm of stress in front of you is very dark as the storm clouds get thicker, rain coming down with a fury. You decide to get up from where you were sitting and slowly start walking towards it, without fear, without worry, just pure confidence that you are safe and in control. You get closer and closer as the storm draws near and the wind blows with tremendous speed. The winds and the rains have no effect on you. As you look forward, you see the eye of the storm, and around that eye, the winds and the rain are extremely powerful. Yet, you have zero worry as you step into the center of this eye. You look around from within the eye of the storm and can see all the chaos around you. But inside, it's calm, quiet. This is your space, your safe place. And when the stress has fully taken over you, you have a choice to let it blow over without a fight, just there in the middle of it, realizing that it cannot hurt you here. Witness your body as the center, and any stress is just a storm surrounding you that comes and goes. You are in control and can always come back to your safe space. And now the storm is losing its power, slowly dying down. Even the rain is easing up and is now only a drizzle. The clouds are drifting away as the sky gets brighter. The sunlight peeks through the clouds as they pass by, shining a beautiful light all around. You hear the birds as they begin to sing and see some butterflies and bees buzzing around the flowers that are now blossoming after the rain. Everything is at peace. This moment represents you being in a beautiful state of mind where stress had no control of you as it passed you by. I want you to just stand in this field just for a moment. Look around. Notice the soft breeze. Notice how you feel. Notice your breath, your smile, your shoulders relaxed, a deep exhale. I'd like for us to come back to our breathing. Let's do the 5-1-5 one more time. Let's breathe in for 5 seconds. Hold. Breathe out. Taking in all that you've learned here today. Allow the memory of your strength through the storm to be present in your mind right here. You were strong. You did it. You were able to close your eyes and find that safe space in the midst of chaos. I hope that you'll come back to the 5-1-5 breathing when you find yourself in high-stressed situations. With time and practice, you will be amazed how you can ride out the storm of stress. You may think your life is far from that of Daniel Craig's as he suntans exotic beaches and drives ridiculously cool cars. And while you're not being shot at or losing millions at a card table, at least I hope, you too know how to keep a calm mind in the midst of any storm. And that is better than any gadget Agent Q will ever create. To find more episodes of Calm It Down, hear the musical playlist from today's episode, or simply wanting to know where to send chocolate chip cookies, visit calmitdownpodcast.com. You'll even find additional resources for emotional support, including our online community and our Facebook page. You're not alone. You are not alone. This podcast was written and produced by yours truly, Chad Lawson, composer, pianist, and nationally recognized Sweet Tooth. And now something my attorney wants me to say. The views, expressions, and techniques in this episode are of my personal opinion and is not intended to, nor should they serve as a substitute for medical advice or diagnosis rendered to you by your individual doctor or other healthcare provider. Only a licensed physician should evaluate your situation, provide a diagnosis, or render other medical advice to you, and you should only act upon the advice of such physician. Now, what I like to say. I am an extreme empath by nature, but my profession is that of a composer and pianist, not a licensed therapist or physician. I hear from thousands of listeners how my music has helped them through various stages of emotional needs, and I simply want to offer this and future podcasts in aiding those needs. To find a list of licensed professionals in your area, please visit calmitdownpodcast.com. And finally, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review. While it takes less than 60 seconds to do, its impact will last for years to come, as every little bit helps in growing the awareness and the importance of emotional health. I'm Chad Lawson, and until next time, be kind to your mind, and join me next week as we calm it down.